Well, back again. It's been 3 days since I was able to do anything with this. Meanwhile, off right up here where you can't see, I have had the old lifters soaking in a oil bucket. I cut open and filled it full of that break-in oil. So we're going to start putting them in. They've been in 3 days now. I don't know what you're going to be able to see, but there's one. There's a couple things that I hope they all fit in there. I think they do. I didn't think about the heads being in the way. If that makes any sense. Yeah, it looks like they took that into account. Still waiting for a couple things to show up. That block off plate for the fuel pump, the primer, but it's alright, we still got some other things we got to do to this thing anyway. I thought today we'd get the valve train completely done, and then I'll start sealing the engine up partially with some old stuff so we can get ready to paint it. Come on. There you go. I knew you could do it. I would generally pour this oil in, but I see a little bit of floating debris came off of these lifters, I'm sure, during packing and stuff, so I'm definitely not going to pour this oil into it. And I think I've already said this, but these are new lifters. I pretty much replaced everything except the balancer, if that makes any sense. I don't know why I didn't buy a balancer for it. I guess I just didn't think about it. But I'm going to show you the push rods here in a bit if I haven't done that already. If I don't have it on another video, I don't remember, because the videos aren't out yet. This is already mid-December, and I don't even have the videos out starting this, and I think I started a month or two back. I don't remember when. I've had so many other things going. I was doing the front suspension on it and some other stuff. Alright. Now they got these keepers. Let me bring them over and start setting them in. These were not replaced because they still look good, but I did clean them all up. I showed you kind of before, they look sort of like a goofy little fork. What they do though, and there's an up. It actually is stamped. I think I showed you this here the other day, whether I videoed or not. It actually says up. That's got to go up. And what these do is they stop the lifters from turning. They're rollers, so you don't want them things twisting like a flat tappet cam. They're actually supposed to rotate as the cam is spinning, and but these you don't want to. Obviously, the roller needs to go one direction only. So those go on top of there, all facing what it says up. And then this retainer sits on top of that, and there's two bolts that hold it in the center. I may have said this or showed you all this when I took it apart. I don't really remember. I don't recall getting specific about it. This is a spring-loaded deal, so it holds pressure on them. They don't fall out. We'll break them off in the cast iron block. Anyway, so well, this thing is kind of crooked. Yeah, best it gets. But anyway, so that's basically how that goes. So now, let me show you what happened here. I'm gonna do the old push rods. Don't even remember now. I know where the new ones are at. I know where the old ones. Crap. I know they were laying here somewhere. Anyway, let me bring the new stuff over either way. I don't think I pitched them. It doesn't sound like something I do. But you never know. But I do need, well, I'm just going to grab a set of these. I need all of them over there, but I'm going to grab a set of them. And it honestly did not happen to all of them. I do have these in order. I did not clean them because I knew I was going to replace them. But basically what happened was, you can see, this one is where the push rods ride. This one is what it's supposed to look like. This one is completely egged and wallered out. And not only did it do this to about every third or fourth one, it also did the same kind of damage to the push rods. So I just decided to replace them all, because obviously if one of them's wore, or two of them, or four, or whatever, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, you can replace just one if that's, if that's your budget, or that's your, I got it. I understand, and I got it. And I can appreciate that. I don't know what to do with them old push rods. I had them laying here. I took pictures of them with my phone, but it doesn't make any difference. I don't know where they're at now. Anyway, so I ended up just buying brand new, ordered new melling push rods, and I hope there's more than that in here. Yeah, there is. Man, that's really, I really want the old one so I can double check length, because let me bring you back here just a second, and instead of you having to sit there and look at an engine. Alright, sorry for not being prepared on that. I found them where I put them. Okay, look at the end of this push rod. That is not, I don't know if it's focusing on it necessarily. Let me put my hand up there in front of it. Maybe it'll focus more on that glove or something. You're not going to do it, are you? Well, anyway. If you can see, I mean, it ate, man, my camera work, come on. But you can see though, it is, yeah, that's not going to work. So I just ordered all new ones. There's no sense in even attempting to run that crap. So anyway, bought brand new ones. I just double checked, all the length is the same. I use assembly lube, both ends. That's just me. Obviously there is no set way to put them on, because it's all brand new stuff. So new lifters, new push rods, new rockers. So just stick them down in there where they belong. Make sure they're seated. Because Ford is a little different than GM small blocks, the Gen 1s. Anyway, where they do not, on this particular case, they do not require any adjustments. You just tighten them down. And or GM, they're adjustable, small and big block, both Gen 1s. But your Gen 3s and 4s on GM's not. The LS based engines are not. They actually are non-adjustable. Now you can buy everything adjustable, I mean, if that's what you want to do, but that requires different rockers, different pedestals possibly, different, well, probably different everything. You know what I mean? I don't know what it would require. I don't want to put it on this end now. I'm also going to put it, and I don't have them out yet and don't know what it's going to take, stuff that I do not possess. But I'm going to do this, and I'm also going to do the tips of the valves with this assembly lube as well. Now this engine's probably not going to be started for quite a while, so what I will do though is once the drive shaft rod, the priming tool arrives, which I assume will be today. I think it's supposed to be here the other day, it didn't show up. Once I get everything kind of half sealed up, what I'll do is the valve covers will be left off, and what I'll do is I will actually rotate this at the same time I'm spinning that, rotate the whole engine over so that everything is getting oiled. Okay, so in the new box, which is also made by Melling, came one new rocker arm with the, well, I don't know what they call that, but the pivoting point, and new bolt. The only thing I require off of the old stuff is they were set up in groups of 2. And somebody's texting me. Of course. I'm going to set this in the engine. Not a good plan, but I know what parts are there. On the old ones, they have the same exact setup. They have the pedestal, but they also have, I don't know what this is, but it must hold them from turning or something. I really don't know. So I do require that off the old stuff. That is it. So, of course, they're not clean by any means, and I cannot find any. There it is. Yeah. I probably should have cleaned these up in my chemical cleaner, but they don't. What do I hear outside? Those guys are out there working again, construction, out there on the road. Anyway, so I'll make sure there's no big chunks. Doesn't appear to be. So those will actually sit here. Obviously I don't have all the parts together yet, so I'm going to get another one of these out. And if you want the part numbers for them, I can give them to you, but your application may be different, so therefore I'm not going to give you all the numbers and stuff off of everything. Okay, now I don't know if these actually go a certain direction. Let me take one of these apart and look real quick and remember which way it goes. The oil actually faces a certain direction. The reason I need to know is because what I'm going to do, I'm going to put assembly lube down there because I don't want these things starting up, rocking, dry down there in that pivot point. So everything, of course I sealed it up because I didn't want any good contaminants in it. And that just turned around in my hand. I'll do the other one too, make sure. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. And then these go like so, just like that. And since they're facing this direction, we're going to put them on this way. Now I've already got assembly lube on the other end, so I'm not going to assembly lube these, but if you want to, that is absolutely fine. There's nothing here that says you cannot do. Like I said, if a little bit of lube is good, in this particular case, a whole lot more is better. Yeah, they're out there beating on forms. I'm not going to tighten them all down yet, but I am going to just tighten them down with my fingers because this one's open. This one's number 8 cylinder in Ford's. Let me make sure. No, sorry, this is number 4 cylinder. I'm backwards. Okay. Alright, so this is what we got to do, and I got to open up 16 of them. There's no sense in you standing there watching me open every one of these boxes. If I run into a problem, I'll bring you back, but I'm not going to tighten anything down or nothing until you come back. I'll see you in a bit. I actually brought you back for a reason why I was still doing it, and that was to show you something fascinating. And the reason that I use this stuff over most of the white bigger tube of that engine assembly lube. The reason I use this Lucas, not a sponsor, assembly lube, this green stuff, or yeah, doggone it, I can't stand that. It doesn't work. Anyway, I've showed you this here. This is what I use. And the reason I use that is because of how tacky that stuff stays. I don't know if you can see this, but I put this on here 10 minutes ago, and this is still staying stationary on top of that valve, even though this engine is still at an angle. Nothing has run off the edges. This stuff stays where you put it, and is nice and stringy and tacky. And to me, that is the perfect scenario on an engine, on a fresh engine build start, is that your assembly lube stays put, stays where it belongs. And that's one of the reasons I am so adamant about using this particular stuff. I have used the other stuff, and I actually had a friend of mine in the past, before you could buy the stuff readily, I mean, you could buy it always, but most people just used oil, at one point. Some people used like the STP oil treatment, straight, used to make a 60 weight. I've seen gear oil used for bearings and stuff like that, just to have a thick something that stays there, kind of stays put, because you're going to change the oil. You should change it pretty quick after the first start. But anyway, with that said, a friend of mine used to use he would use a combination of lithium grease, like out of a tube or out of a can, like what you would do bearings with and stuff like that, like wheel bearings. And he would mix it with a 50 weight Valvoline oil, and then he would mix that up in a little vat or a little bucket with a paintbrush after he was done with it. And that's what he actually used. He would just smear that stuff on everything, and it would stay put, being that it had that grease on it. And I'm not telling you to do any of those things, and I'm not even telling you to use this Lucas brand. I'm sure there's other stuff out there that's better, or what, I forgot to put the deal on there. Get talking and forget about it. But I just wanted to show you though how this stays on top of that stuff. I didn't put another coat on it. I didn't do anything special. I just put it on all the ends of this stuff, and it all stays on there. And it's just really good stuff. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. But number two, this was kind of an odd thing. I didn't really look. I mean, I opened the box when it came in. I'm talking about the box from, I assume I got these from these rockers and the push rods. I'm pretty sure I got these from Rock Auto. And had it been something a little more expensive, I probably wouldn't have, I probably would actually get a hold of them and send it back or whatever. But sometimes you get a hold of them, they just tell you, well, it's no big deal, just keep it. But I want to show you something. I'm sitting there going through this, and I was opening up each one of the individual boxes, making sure everything looked right, and I was setting them on a clean rag, getting ready to put them in, put them all together in one unit. And I opened up a box. It was a little heavier, but I didn't pay much attention. Opened it up, and something else fell out of it. It was like, what is this? Then I got concerned that I was shorted one rocker. And as I was going through there, I opened another box, or I saw the part number. I started looking at the part numbers, because then I got thinking, I didn't even check to see if these things had like an intake and exhaust. I didn't think they did. It looked like they were all the same to me. I think I checked it before I ordered them too. But I got thinking, I thought, well, I don't remember ordering these particular items. Well, I found two more boxes in there with the same things in them, and I thought, oh no. So I'm short all kinds of these rockers then. Nope, all 16 rockers were there, and all 16 push rods were there. So they just added some extra stuff in there. Now, it wasn't like a gift, because they sure don't, I don't even know what to go to for sure. I need to look the part number up. I'll give them to you here in just a minute. Let me get this last one started on here. But come on, get back up where you belong. There you go. This one's open. The open ones are a little harder to start because they had a funnier angle. Okay, there we go. Before I tighten anything up, let me show you this. Oh, and I wasn't going to give you part numbers, but I got thinking about it. it's probably a good idea to go ahead. The numbers wore out a bit on this, but this is a Melling. This is specific for that Ford MRK54. That's an 8. That's the rocker arm with the bolt and the rocker piece in there, and then the push rods are, where are you at? MPR366. Now this is the part number that came in that other box. I could not figure out what it was. 475084, and it says contains 4 pieces. Well, it did. They look like they're valve, you know, and I don't know if they're Ford or not. They don't exactly look like what's on there. So I don't know, but I got 3 boxes of them that contain 4, so I have 12 of them. I didn't order these, so I thought, well, maybe I ordered them and I couldn't remember for the valves, and I don't remember. So I got looking at my list that I ordered, and that's all I ordered. So I don't know, doesn't matter. I have extra parts that I don't know if they even go to this engine or not. So who knows? All right, what size are these? Well, they are not 9/16. Do I have my bolts in here? Yes, I do. Okay, what we're going to do, and I'm sure there's a torque spec for this, I'll have to look it up. That one's actually starting to open a bit. This one is not. But you still want to, I know I'm off camera a bit, I apologize. Just tighten up. This would be number 5. Also, because I knew I was going to be running this bigger cam, something I did do, and when I ordered the pistons, I could have bought the Lincoln pistons again, which I don't have the ones. I left them there. They had, if you watch the rest of the videos, you'll see when I was taking it apart what they look like. But what you're wanting to do is, or what I wanted to do was, I wanted them here fast, and so I ordered them through Rock Auto. And what I did find was that these have reliefs. These new pistons have reliefs in them for the valves. And that's another reason why I went with them instead of waiting for the Lincoln ones to show up. Because the Lincoln ones they didn't have the relief in them. They had a little bit of an undercut in the center section, but they didn't have the reliefs in them. And I was concerned. I knew this lift was almost 500 lift, and I didn't know for sure if they were going to miss. So with that said, I'm not telling you have to do it. I don't know. I didn't try this cam with those pistons that were stock out of there. It didn't say that you couldn't run a flat top piston with it, and I didn't go with oversized valves, so they've got wimpy Lincoln valves in them. You know what I mean? So now I know I've tightened these up, and I told you I wasn't going to, and they're not like they're not torqued yet. But what I'm doing though is I'm just snugging them all down, and then I'm going to rotate the engine to make sure it turns all the way around without hitting anything. And I probably should have done that before I tightened any of these down, but some of these were already partially open, and I didn't want any issues with getting something off and then bending something, if that makes any sense. And you can feel while you're tightening something down, you can tell if something is not going proper. If it only moves a little bit and stops where all the rest of them are moving really easy, you probably have something misaligned or something's wrong length, or something like that. So, but all right, now I'm just snugging all these down. I'll get a torque spec on these here in a minute, and then we'll torque them down, because like I said, these are non-adjustable. I think Oldsmobile, I think Buick, I don't know about Cadillac or Pontiac, but some of the GMs that were just tightened down like this, and some of them were adjustable. And I'm sure Ford probably was that way too. I don't know. I've never really done much with any of the other Ford motors. I wouldn't mind building a 390 FE motor sometime just to do it. But I have not done it before. So. All right, let me a big socket here out that I put away. I think it's 15/16. Yes, it was. All right. I know you can't see every one of them. Come on, get on there. Come on. Why is the tool not going in the socket? There we go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over, make sure everything moves without binding. This is also checking spring compression, making sure they're not bottoming them out or doing anything stupid since I didn't put these heads together. Again, trust your machine shop, but in the same token, trust yourself. Things turning real easy. I see the lifters are still not pumped up. They have oil in them, but there's no oil pressure yet, if that makes any sense. So I know I've made a complete revolution or two, but I'm just making sure. Oh, come on, stay on there. So, all right, I know that they're all moving now, and nothing's doing anything stupid that I'm seeing. So, all right, I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to get my torque specs. I'm going to torque these down. I'm going to clean all the oil off of everything, and I'm not putting the intake on. I'm actually going to clean the old one. I'm going to clean the old valve covers. I'm going to clean the old distributor. I know you can't see what I'm doing because I'm pointing at things, but you're not even looking at them. Anyway, I'm going to clean the old distributor and put it back in. I'm going to clean the old valve covers and set them on along with the old intake and set it on. I need to go check to see if it showed up. I'd really like to have this cover plate for the I actually have a new fuel pump that I probably won't take back. I could just bolt that in just to cover this hole. There's an oil pressure hole galley. I think I have some fittings up here. I can at least put it on there. I've already fixed this. The only thing I do not have is I think I threw all the spark plugs, the old spark plugs away, and I hate putting new ones in it. So I may take small pieces of paper and just kind of shove down here in the holes. I hate painting the new spark plugs because they're kind of noticeable sometimes. They're under the headers, sort of, but I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get this all covered up and sealed up as best I possibly can. And then I'm going to take my wire wheel and I'm going to clean up the rust that's on these heads and stuff. Not worried about getting paint on. I'm also going to put the old water pump back on, I think, just so it's covering that inside where the mating surface is. I was going to try to save this from this timing cover from being painted, being as it's aluminum, but I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to go ahead and send it the way it is. It'll be fine painted blue. I did buy Ford blue paint. They only had one can, so I bought some primer too. There's a lot of rusty cleanup stuff that needs done here. And the oil pan's brand new, so I'm going to have to really do some cleaning here. But anyway, when you see me bring it back, it's actually going to be assembled, but it's not going to be, that's not the part that's going on it, if that makes any sense. None of the valve covers, intake manifold, distributor, water pump, the stuff you see put on here is not what's going to be on this thing, you know, when finished. So, all right, we'll bring you back.